So welcome everyone. It's wonderful to always to take time to practice together, to reflect together on what is it that make us relish our lives. There's so many beautiful things that are happening to us all the time, constantly. Life by itself, even with all its contrasts, is so extremely exquisite, and yet we seem to manage to sometimes or often or sometimes for very long periods of time, we seem to manage to focus our attention on those things that seem not to be working well, or seem to be challenges or conflicts, or we call them problems sometimes. So getting together regularly and to reflect and to practice and to just develop the habit of focusing on that which is our essence, which by its very nature, our essence is loving, joyful awareness, wakeful awareness that is loving, that is joyful. So that's extremely precious. So I always relish very much our meetings. Today we start the second chapter of Healing Now, of this beautiful book. And because we're starting the second chapter, and I'll go over a couple of the basics, which it's how we practice and why I think, but let's say like a couple of the main important things that maybe distinguish this type of practice from other practices that I have followed or practiced in the past, or that I know are out there. So I would like to start with that. So I suggest, when I send the email, actually when Anna sent the email for the week, there were a couple of reading suggestions. I hope everybody did it. I hope Jim did it. No, again? Okay. It's all right. So the main thing, all our practices are, or our structure of practice is contained within what we call the Three Excellencies. This is explained here in the introduction. So because our practice is based on the knowing that by essence all sentient beings are awakened, and there's just layers of distraction, like clouds happen in the sky that cover the sun. So our practice is geared not only towards our well-being, which is very important. It usually is what motivates us first to practice, but our practice is always geared towards generating ripples of well-being and of awakening that can pervade our energy system, and wherever we go, leave an imprint there. And because the minds of all sentient beings is one mind, so we know that by structuring our practice in a specific way, where at the beginning there's a motivation where we include all sentient beings, and then we practice in a way that is very focused, very relaxed, but very focused, and then at the end we offer a dedication of the virtue of our practice, of the benefit of our practice. So we are aware that that generates immense benefit for all sentient beings. So this is how we practice. It's explained throughout the introduction, but here in page, I think it's 11, page 13, there's an example of a healing meditation session. So the beginning of the practice, one arrives, one feels present, and you can do this. We're going to do a short little practice now before we actually start with the healing smile. So at the beginning of the practice, you arrive to the present moment, and you become aware of your being, in the present moment, which is just here and now. I mean, it's nothing mysterious. It's like your awareness has an ability to, which is the natural tendency of our awareness, to be focused on the external objects. Okay, so it's focused on, on the computer, on whatever sounds I hear, or whatever somebody is saying. So naturally, our awareness tends to be always focused outside on the external, what we call the external world. We don't know really if there's such a thing of external world, but so the energy of the senses, it's connecting to its objects, to the smells, to the sounds, to the sensations, in a way that our sensation, our experience of being is just goes outside, goes outward. And this is how we live most of our day, most of our days between birth and death. Okay. Through the through their insight, through their natural ability to observe consciousness and experience consciousness, the great practitioners of our traditions, and anybody who has observed, one's mind, one realizes that there's actually an observer, there's somebody who is the witness, somebody who is experiencing these things. So we call that like turning our gaze from the external world to the inner perceiver. Okay, so that's what we call arriving. And that's really the practice of practices. Everything else that we do is just to keep going back to this experience of being present and aware with wakefulness in the present moment. So you, at the beginning of your practice, you just arrive and you say, oh, I'm here. You don't just jump into doing, because doing becomes very external, very mental, very abstract. So you say, oh, I'm here. So you just develop a sensation of your physical body, a sensation of your sense of I-ness. It's almost like you are turning your senses like towards yourself. Not the yourself, Ferran, this age, this nationality, this profession, this personal story, which it's still like part of the external. Here we are turning our awareness towards a very profound sense of I-ness. Just being in this present moment. Letting the senses relaxed. And this is really the yoga of yogas. This is really the prayer of prayers. This is the meditation of non-meditation, we call it. Jesus in the Bible says, come to me, you who are burdened and weary, and I will give you rest. So this is this voice that is speaking this, like come to this sensation of being. This is really the essence of all practices and really the essence of all spiritual traditions and all healing traditions. And yet, because we are embodied in physical form, and therefore, we cannot just abide in this state of being and nothing else. We have to, the world is beautiful, and our consciousness is beautiful, that it engages in the world and with our, families and friends and whatever it is. So naturally, we observe what, from that point of view of this awareness that is resting on itself, we observe the world, and we observe our lives, and we observe that we have a physical body, and we have emotions, and we have relationships, and therefore we can. It's it's not really a comparison, but it's something you are like checking, you know. There's a profound sense of what is our potentiality, a potential of well-being, a potential of being joyful, a potential of feeling fulfilled. And therefore we say, oh yeah, I get a sense, I get a glimpse, this is my potential, but my life is manifesting in this way, you know. So then we realize, oh, but there's methods in which I can make my life align with which I intuit, or I have a clear sense that is my potential. So then is when we start doing all these practices, healing meditation being, you know, one of the many kinds of traditions of practice that are there. So then this puts us at the threshold of our practice. You know, we are aware of this pure potentiality that we have as beings embodied in human form right now, but just pure consciousness. And therefore, at the beginning of our practice, we activate a motivation. We want to guide our energy, our intention, and our attention. We want to guide it towards a specific direction. This is very, in Chinese medicine, this is one of the main premises or paradigms. You know, it's like energy, qi, follows intention. And intention is made out of sustained attention. You know, this is one of the topics that are kind of being weaved today in the talk. But understanding how our view of the world conditions our life. So how we align our attention with our intention, and how we are able to sustain that attention and intention in something that we really want, really determines the direction of our life. So at the beginning of our practice, going back to this idea of the three excellences, okay? So the first part is activating what we call a pure motivation. And the motivation is pure, not because it's a moral motivation where, you know, you are, it's like religious or, you know, politically correct, or, you know. It's pure because it's been clearly defined, you know, like you have been clear about what is it that you would like for yourself, so that's what makes it pure. You know, it's not pure because the Pope said this, or the Rabbi said this, or, you know, or that, you know, the Bible said that, or the, you know, the Quran says this. It's pure because within the intimacy of your own being, you say, oh, I really want to relish myself. I really want to relish my life. You know, this extreme, profound gift that I've received from my parents, from our family lineage. So then this is where the personal motivation comes. You know, so here in page 13, so we begin by expressing our and reflecting on our personal altruistic motivation. So first we express our motivation. So whatever your reason for being here today is, to have joined this course, you know, the whole course, or this like next 4 sessions of the Healing Smile, must be a reason why you're here. You know, I don't think it's because of my good jokes. You know, it must be something that is, you know, jokes sometimes are better, sometimes are worse, but there must be a reason why you said, oh, you know, I got this email, I think this can help me with this. So at the beginning of the practice, you put this in the front, and that's kind of guiding. So just take a second, you know, a few seconds, just bring that to mind. Don't tell me, oh, because my wife forced me, you know, otherwise no lunch today. Can be something as simple as, you know, so I can keep finding a path to love and enjoyment and being of service to others. Or it can be something more specific. You might have a, you know, a health issue or some project that you're working that you want to fine-tune. And that's where the purity comes from. The purity is like, you know, it's not about morality or about what you do with your genitals. You know, it's really about how much you can fine-tune what is it that you want for your life, really, because that profound desire comes from the source itself of creation. So that's the purity. This is a very profound alchemical process. And then, because we know that all sentient beings, without exception, even those who have harmed us, or those who we think that maybe they are not so good people, or that they behave in ways that are harming to others, harmful to others. So we have this certainty that this nature of pure awareness and consciousness and joyful, mindful awareness is within everybody. It's like, sometimes the sky is cloudy, sometimes it's clear, but the sun, it's there. Even when the earth is turned around because it's night and it's spinning, we know that the sun is still there. That's what, the telescopes tell us, okay? These pictures. So we bring into mind this motivation that we want to be of benefit to others. Okay? This is very important. If you have not read it, it's in page 9, you can read it. And if you have read it, I encourage you to read it again many, many times, because this is the foundation of our practice. This is the foundation of our practice moving forward. So then in page 10, we read the altruistic motivation. There's this paragraph here. It says, so again, before you start reading, always check back with yourself. Am I here? And then you arrive again to the present moment. Arrive. Keep arriving. And so you are here, present, aware of yourself. And then we read this. I'm going to practice healing meditation to benefit both myself and all other sentient beings without exception. May my practice generate an infinite ripple of healing, well-being, and awakening across all time and space. May the illnesses of all beings be healed, and may they never occur again. May my practice bring joy and clarity to all beings, helping all of us become aware of our perfect essence. May we have the courage to recognize the same perfect essence within everyone and everything. May this recognition awaken healing, joy, peace, and love within each of us throughout all of existence. So this is really the essence of our practices, this profound desire that all sentient beings, regardless of who they are and what they have done, or what, how we perceive them, can really connect with this experience of being that then naturally blossoms into this desire to be of benefit to others, of help to others, just to have fun together, even within the challenges, even within the competition, even within just, life, as life is. So the motivation in this case, the pure motivation, so the altruistic motivation in this case is pure, again, not because of moral things or, of being politically correct. It's pure because it's able to cut through, to perceive through external appearances, and can actually perceive beyond what is happening externally and connect with this inner essence of all beings, which is the inner essence of all life, which by nature is divine. And therefore, it's there, it's not something we create, it's not something that they create. So therefore we say, may this awaken. We don't say we create or we, may it happen, may it be born. May it awaken healing, joy, peace, and love within each of us throughout all of existence. And this puts us, as you can, probably tell, this puts us in an exquisite position. Because when we combine these both things, we really start like opening ourselves to an experience of love and wisdom that is very, very exquisite. And then naturally we just feel happy or happier and joyful, and this sense of bliss. And the practice is, everybody's adults here, so practice is almost like making love, you know. So there's an extended foreplay, you know, that keeps happening. So finer and finer frequencies, finer and finer feelings keep naturally just manifesting and awakening. So we arrive, and we become aware of ourselves, become aware of our surroundings, and we connect with this pure motivation of what we want to experience in our life, because we're aware of our potential. And then we connect with this pure motivation of how we wish that others experience themselves, because we're aware of their potential. And then we can bring in the awareness, we say inward, even though it's not like an appropriate term, but just for the sake of understanding within the physical realm. And we do this by, then we activate the centering and purifying breath, the alternating nostril breathing. I also suggested in the email that everybody reads this part. I'll just review it. So within this experience of just wakeful, joyful awareness, we're going to block one nostril and inhale through the other one, and then block the other one and exhale 3 times. So we'll do one side, and then we'll switch, and then we'll do both sides. Inhaling to the lower abdomen, exhaling through the center and out. And what this does, this balances the lateral channels, which sometimes we call the father or the mother channel, or the sun and the moon channel. And when those two polarities mix in the center, again, the mind has an ability to deepen the experience of this profound sense of I-ness. So these are all what we call the preliminaries. So we start blocking the right and inhale through the left. At your own pace, hold the breath, and then block the left and exhale through the right. And continue at your own pace 2 more times. When you're inhaling this beautiful rainbow of golden light. And as you're exhaling any tension, any worries, any still energy goes out. And then after 3 breaths from one side, now start blocking the left and inhale through the right. And let the body guide the pace of the breathing. Don't do it don't doing robotically. It's not a machine. Relish the openings, relish the spaces. And keep coming back to yourself, keep coming back to this awareness of being, and then breathe in through both nostrils into the brain. down the sides of the spine into the lower abdomen below the navel, and hold the breath there for a moment, and then at your own pace exhale up through the center and out the crown. And then with the next breath, feel like this beautiful rain of well-being, of golden light or rainbow light showering around you and inside of you. So repeat that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale up the center. And once more. And bring the breath down either into the chest or the abdomen. And up to here, this is the preliminary practices. So this is what we call the pure motivation. Okay, so the first section of the preliminaries, we always do this. And you know, it has taken 20 minutes because I'm like explaining, you know, many details. When you do this by yourself, this can take, you know, 3 minutes. And then we're just going to do a very simple observation of the breath practice here for the next 3 minutes. So the normal breath is the normal breath. When our awareness rests on the breath and is aware of the breath as our life, so the breath becomes the breath of life. So this is the kind of breath we're observing now. So just feel the breath come in and come out naturally. So there's a certain awareness that is on the breath, feeling the breath come in, and feeling the breath go out. There is awareness on the object of perception. And now just keep a certain degree of awareness also on you as the one who is breathing in and out. If the mind gets dispersed or has a tendency to just run into thought, you can keep your eyes a bit open or all the way open. Remembering to feel the breath as it comes in and out of your being. So that was 3 minutes observing the breath and observing your awareness of being. And then at the end of the, even if it doesn't seem so, I'm still going through the explanation of page 14. So 13, sorry. So you practice the breath or whatever specific technique you're doing, and then at the end, here in number 3, we read the dedication. The dedication is essential. Here in page 11 you can read why the dedication is so important if you're not aware of, but basically the dedication is what, in terms of energy and consciousness, seals the deal, is what really makes your practice to remain. Instead of the practice being like a castle, that one builds by the sand and the water then washes it away, which is nice, but it goes. This is more like building one of those, Roman aqueducts, or some of you, we have been in these dolmens, who are, some of them are 20,000 years old, and they are standing there still no matter what happens. So when we dedicate the virtue, the merit of our practice for the benefit of others, our practice becomes extremely pervasive, and that's really what, this is what really one of the keys, characteristics of how we practice. So here at the bottom of page 11, by the merit of having practiced healing meditation for the benefit of myself and all other beings, may all beings without exception be well and happy. May there be peace in all lands, prosperity in all households, and joy in all hearts across all time and space. And may all the motivation prayers made for the well-being of beings become a reality. So our practice, regardless of if it was very long or very short, the quality of our practice comes determined by our ability to be aware and present. It's like your husband or your wife is reading something and say, "Oh yeah, I love you, I love you," and but if they are looking at you, very passionately and with love, and they say, from the heart, "I love you." So that's a whole different experience. So our practice is the same thing. There's this very intimate relationship that is happening between, let's say, our worldly mind and our inner divine mind, which is the mind of all sentient beings. So when we can align these two in a very clear, present way, that's really the healing of all healings. The acupuncture, the herbs, the massage, the surgeries, all the chiropractic, all the countless number of healing techniques that are there are very good and help us very much with many things. But at the end of the day, is this alignment between our individual awareness with our divine awareness that is the healing of healings. Wonderful. So that's the idea of the motivation and the dedication included at the beginning and the end of the practice, and then the idea of this three-structure practice are really very essential. So for those of you who might be new today or needed a refresher, this is what really is going to make any kind of practice you do, and you can use this for anything. You can go wash the dishes, and you can think, I'm going to wash the dishes to wash the dishes because I have a lot of dishes, and I'm also going to wash the dishes to generate benefit for all sentient beings. It doesn't matter. It can be any activity. You can go to work. You can take a shower. Anything that you're doing, you can. And then if you do that with a sense of mindful, loving awareness, and at the end you dedicate the virtue, that has become like a very high quality spiritual practice. Here at the beginning of chapter 2, there's a quote by Thich Nhat Hanh, which is very beautiful. It says, "Sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy." I don't think this needs too much explanation, but just in case it needs some explanation. Sometimes, we are joyful because things go well our way, and you're just, it's nice and things are easy, and you say, wow, this was a piece of cake, and you smile and say, oh, wow, this is fantastic. But very often things just go, they just are naturally, have a mind of their own, like a printer, or a computer, So here is where the character of a person is both revealed and forged. I don't know if you say forged in English, like, cultivated, okay? So whatever you encounter, can you encounter it with a joyful, loving mind, And there's, like the Dalai Lama says, he says, what does he say? He says, when possible, be kind. It's always possible, So you can find joy anywhere, because the joy is within you. And this is really the beauty of this, of, Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Buddha, saying this, But, your smile can also be the source of your joy, so you can work it out. And really the essence of the healing smile is really that, The healing smile is extremely profound, it says here, the healing smile is a simply yet deeply profound meditation. It is very simple because we smile to ourselves. This is actually one of my favorite practices. When I wake up every morning, this is the first thing I do. I'm in bed and, whatever position I am, tilted here, twisted there, whatever. Dog on top of me, kids there, whatever it is, Oh, I'm awake. Oh, this is so beautiful. You realize your consciousness, is awake. And you just smile internally, externally, around you. You just say, oh, this is... And that's really the essence of the healing smile. Okay, we're going to break it in 4 parts because it has many different aspects to it that can really be taken as a complete path. The healing smile can be taken as a complete path. It's very simple because all you have to do is to smile to yourself. It is extremely profound because this kind of smile comes from a sense of loving yourself. And we were listening to Adele. I love Adele, the singer. And she has such an incredible voice, and her songs are so torturous all the time. And it's pretty difficult to put it together because it's like, how this incredible voice and this incredible energy. So it's really the reality of contrast in life. We have this. When I see Adele, I saw one of her concerts. She's a Qigong master. I don't know that she knows, but her ability to manipulate energy is completely incredible. Everybody knows Adele, I'm sure. No? She's pretty famous. If not, I'll send you a link to one of her songs. So she has the incredible ability to manipulate energy. Yet the songs are always heartbreaking, So we're in the car with my daughter, and little father tip there, And I said, we're listening to one of these super torturous songs, and the song finishes, and I said, well, as I understand it, if it hurts, it's not love. It may be something in the surroundings, okay, and it may be, there's. So this love that comes from the healing smile, or this smile that comes, where we practice the healing smile, it's really a smile that is like very, very loving, And it really puts you in contrast because you see there is not a smile that is a smile of good manners or a cynical smile. There's an infinite number of smiles, Sometimes they say, kill them with a smile or kill. This is not about killing anybody. This is like this profound sense where the smile comes from a sense of presence. The smile comes from this experience of this, everything that I'm perceiving is actually the divine itself, And this is one of the topics also I said, perceiving appearances as divine. We want to experience well-being, we want to experience, awakening, we want to experience love, we want to experience abundance. Yet we are masters. I don't know, maybe you not, but I observe my mind. And there's this aspect of the mind that is a master at constantly focusing, retrieving, encouraging things that are miles away from this experience of the divine, you know. Very often we hide it under, you know, being a good person or having good opinions or, you know, wrestling with, you know, political things or whatever. Yeah, it's okay. Anger is anger, like fear is fear, hatred is hatred. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which side of the fence it is. Okay? So this kind of presence, this kind of smile, this kind of love, it's really rooted in the certainty, at least the intellectual certainty, that what we are perceiving, what we are seeing, what we are touching, what we are feeling, what we are experiencing is the divine itself. If you know, if you're Catholic or Christian, it's God itself. There's no, you know, if God created the world to its image, it created it with all its contrast. You know, if you are, you know, a Buddhist or you know, you don't believe in God, so it's consciousness. Yeah, so there's no two types of consciousness. So this is really the essence of the healing smile, and this is why you know, anything we perceive, even in the worst situations, you know, like I mentioned here in my office, you know, I see quite a few people every week, and you know, I never see anybody ill. You know, people come and tell me, you know, the challenges that they are facing, but you know, I don't recall ever in my career seeing anybody who, to my eyes, was ill. You know, that I said, oh, this person. Yeah, I mean, I see biological structures and psycho-emotional structures that are challenged. But the essence of all this, it's just pure awareness, it's pure consciousness, it's the divine. I think if one day I saw somebody who I perceived he was ill, I would have to stop practicing. I could not keep practicing because I would have failed that person. So you are holding this view of yourself where this is your life, but not your life with problems. This is the experience of the divine. You know? So I hope this makes sense, because this is really the essence of unconditional love and what we are doing here. So to make this easy to follow, so it says here, actually loving ourselves is the foundational of our personal and collective healing. And you know, no matter how many vitamins, supplements, yoga, tai chi, acupuncture, you know, gym, true healing will happen only once our heart is at peace. There's love in our heart towards ourselves, towards the world, as the world is. Okay. So then what we do, we transform this into an organized, systematic process to cultivate self-love. I'm sure you all read this because I asked you to do it, so I'm sure you're very obedient. And if not, you're still the divine, but you have to read it. Because the text, I don't want to go over, we only have so much time, so I don't want to go over every word. But so when you are calm, when you're at ease, when your heart is peaceful, and you have this certainty that what you're experiencing, what your senses are reporting back to you, it's also, in essence, that same foundation. So naturally, your heart is just more relaxed towards things, and more loving and more supportive of others. This practice is truly exceptional. I've been, you know, I was introduced to this practice maybe, 25 years ago, something like this. Has been one of my main practices. The way it's presented here in these 4 sections is something where I actually have presented the way, you know, I've been practicing it. It combines both aspects of the Taoist practice and some Tantric Buddhist practices. So this is what actually makes it very special, because the 4th section, it really, if you have practiced the first 3 sections enough, when you practice the fourth section, it really has the ability to reveal or to point you in the direction of revealing what we call the basis, the foundation of life. Okay, so I really encourage you to take this to heart. Okay, so let's go to the practice for today, page 93. There's also this quote here. I know you all know these things because I know you. Most of you I know personally, and I know this. Nothing of this is new. And yet, one more reminder: if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And really, there's no more teaching than that. If you see somebody, your neighbor, who's giving you a hard time, or that politician, or that situation, or something, oh my God, what person, he's such and such. It's not only that you are kind of blocking your perception of their real nature. Yeah, that person might be doing something that is not appropriate, or needs to be changed, or and that's. Yeah, that can be addressed and needs to be addressed. The issue is like your thoughts, your perceptions, your opinions, your mental habits are vibrations. I mean, it's not that you're thinking something and it's external or it's embedded in that specific person. You take one of the most famous politicians recently. You can take both of them, the two most famous politicians. And it's very interesting because a bunch of people love one and hate the other one, and a bunch of people hate the other one and love one. So then just by considering this, by reflecting on this, you realize that there's not a truth that is intrinsic to the object. It's really based on one's mental habits, of one's patterns, of one's upbringing, So what there is a truth of the workings of energy, which certain mental habits and certain energy patterns have an effect on how you feel physically. So sustaining specific thoughts of anger, thoughts of rage, thoughts of any kind of thoughts, are going to have a lower vibration and are going to make your organs ill, So changing the way you look at things is not just like a kumbaya hippie thing here, oh yeah, all is good. No, it's not like that. It's like understanding very profoundly, like the type of thought that I sustain is the type of vibration that I experience. Therefore, unconditional love in this context is not about, all these like 30-minute new age hacks and playing whatever, mantras and just, wishing everybody well. Of course, we wish everybody well. The unconditional love that we are talking about here is about being able to connect, to experience, to abide, to go more and more towards an awareness of being that is open, that is less restrictive, that is less conditioned. That when things arise, instead of you like grasping at them and making a story of them and making them you feel tight, you use them as reminders. Oh, yes. Okay. And then in the world, you act in whatever way you think it's appropriate. But internally, there's this sense of freedom. This is the unconditional love. Because then when you relate to others, you can relate to them from this point of openness. Here it says, I hope this is being useful. I'm here by myself drinking my tea, so. I hope we are not doing like my kids when they were doing the Zoom classes, they are playing on their iPad while the teacher is talking. This is very beautiful here. In this first section of the Healing Smile, we transform the space where we are into a universe replete with healing, restorative, and transformative qualities. From there, we expand these same virtuous qualities into the world in our life at large. As we practice, our inner declaration is life is infinitely abundant. Infinite positive resources surround me. I have access to what I need and want to live a healthy, loving, joyful, and wakeful life. Okay. So let's do this practice together. This practice is based on, again, on this main idea within the Taoist practices in Chinese medicine, that energy, qi, follows intention. Intention is made out of sustained attention. Whatever you sustain your attention in for long enough, naturally your energy is going to be geared towards that. Energy follows intention. Intention is made out of sustained attention. So, oh yeah, but this all sounds very nice, but look at out there, look at Texas, look at all the wars, look at COVID. Yeah, sure. Look at what? This is where, as a practitioner, you do the best you can to help everybody as much as you can. That's the hand of compassion. And yet at the same time, when we do our prayers, we have the hand of wisdom. And at the same time, you realize, yeah, but it's just a manifestation of consciousness. You cannot be pretend to want to understand the mysteries of life without understanding the contrast of life, all the potential that contrast brings, all the benefits that are revealed through contrast, through issues. Okay. So sit comfortably. You are all sitting comfortably. And this practice generally is better to do it sitting on a chair, and the spine is straight but relaxed. You can also do it laying down. Cross-legged is okay to do it, but in general, this practice I prefer to do it either laying down or sitting on a chair, with the back straight but relaxed. If you were starting to practice this at the beginning, so you would arrive as we did at the beginning, and then activate the motivation. What is the reason why you're going to do this practice? And then activate an altruistic motivation. We can just summarize here. I'm also going to do this practice, so I generate an infinite ripple of awakening and healing and joy for all sentient beings, of good circumstances for all sentient beings. Our personal practice is so important. It's really one of the best things we can give to the world. Because we can make donations, we can send food, we can participate in activities. But if it comes from a mind of poverty, a mind of pity, a mind of, oh, these poor people don't have enough, instead of, yeah, I'm giving because I have plenty and I know there's plenty coming, and I know that by giving in this way, these people can also connect to the flow of plenty that is their nature. That's very, very different. So the feet are grounded, like the feet are flat on the ground, not grounded. And then just take 3 relaxed breaths. And again, another of the main qualities of our practice is like we are constantly becoming aware of ourselves. It's not an abstract thing. We don't get sidetracked. It's not astral traveling. There's no, I'm here. It's very clear. I'm here, very present. So here is not explained. I just didn't want to extend the instruction so much, but The beginning is good to smile down and to feel yourself grounded. So to do that, you can imagine some beautiful roots that extend from your feet, go deep down into the earth. So you feel grounded, connected to the earth. And then above your head, like an arm, you can stretch one arm or both. And above the head, there's around that an arm distance, there's a beautiful sun, like the sun in the sky. Or higher, whatever is comfortable for you. It's very beautiful, it's large, it's radiant, it's glowing. The sun, it's up there represented, but in a sense, the sun is actually part of your same energy structure. You know, our energy structure goes way above the head. So this is one of the energy centers that are above the head. But to make it easy, we just say it's a beautiful sun. So you smile from your heart, you smile to this sun. It's like a soft, gentle, grateful smile. And the sun receives your smile and naturally is happy to. So its light shines more. Shines in all directions, shines to the sides, to your front, to your back. And it just descends all around you. There's this beautiful sunshine, this beautiful golden light. So at the beginning you can just get a general sense of the light, just expanding all over you. And then you become a bit more specific. The light of the sun, excuse me, the light of the sun is this healing light that is shining in front of you. So in front of you, just close to your body, touching your body. All the space in the front is lit by this beautiful healing, wakeful light. And then to your back, the same thing, like the light is shining there, expanding through the back. All the way, all the space, you know. There's no limit to whatever you can imagine. And then on your left side, also this beautiful golden light shining. And on the right, this beautiful golden light shining. In a sense, you could say, oh, this is abstract because I'm imagining it. But after you do a little bit practice, this very beautiful, soft but intense light shining around you, it's very possible that once you finish the practice, or if you open your eyes, you'll see that actually the space around you is also shining. So the light is surrounding you, in front of you, on the sides, you know, between your arms, between your legs, and then just shining deep down into the earth as well. And then the light can be used for two things. You can actually, your space, your house, your room, whatever you are, your office, you can see that light shining from above, either from above your head or from above the house. You can visualize the sun above the house and shines around your whole space, you know. Around your property line. And because the light has no boundaries, so it heals, it repairs, it nourishes, it brings positive virtues to your space, to your land. And then it keeps expanding, you know, to your neighbors and to the city, to the whole world. The second part is optional, so you can just either focus it more on you or expand it depending on, you know, how you feel comfortable. But eventually we want this sun, you know, be higher and higher and higher and shine this healing, soft, loving light surrounding all members of our family, each and every one of them, and then all our friends, all our, you know, people we know, and then all sentient beings without exception. So when we go out, or when somebody comes to mind, instead of this mental pattern of, you know, whatever it is, the habit that we have of thinking of them, now this light of pure awareness surfaces surrounding them, is reminding us, oh, all appearances are divine. Yeah, there's challenges and there's, you know, there's issues, but those just the natural growth process. You know? I started my garden yesterday and inside, and I want to do better this year. Last year was very not so good, so this year I'm going to do better. And you know, the shells are put in the dirt, and you cover them with dirt, and you know, it's kind of damp and hot, and you know, they have to break through the shell, and you know, it's the nature of growth. It's not like the seed never said, oh no, just leave me in a clean, perfect space and I will turn into an oak. There's storms, there's snow, there's rain, there's, you know, branches breaking. It's just this magical manifestation of life. So this beautiful sun is shining around you, expanding. If you know of somebody who is going through issues, the light shines especially on them, on their space. And then another way to use this practice, this specific section of the practice, is to address this sunshine, this healing light, this light of virtues to any project that you are working on. Like you're building a house, you're looking for a job, or you are anything that it is that, you know, a project at work, anything that it is. So you connect with that project, you visualize it, or you feel it, or, you know, and you visualize this sun above it, and the light shines again in all directions around it. And permeates it. So the main practice is, you know, the sun, the light, healing light shining around you. But then, you have these options to expand it, to your family, to the whole earth, to all sentient beings, to any projects, anything that you're working on. Just be creative. This is your practice, so there's really no limit. Whatever comes from your heart is beautiful. So this you can do in a couple minutes, you can do in 30 minutes, whatever time you want. The light is shining around you, and naturally the light pervades. So you just connect within sense of well-being, and then just let go of any kind of visualization, any kind of mental creation, anything. So here in step 8, once you feel that the light is shining on all your surroundings and your life at large, you let go of the visualization and just simply remain in the feeling of being immersed in this healing light that surrounds you. Relish the wonderful sun smiling back at you and your life. So you let go of any kind of fixation, any kind of focus, yet there is still an awareness that is present. You are not dispersed. And naturally there's a sense of joy. Soften any tension that might be left. Just keep feeling the light pervade all aspects of your being. Sunlight, this healing light, is the expression of pure potentiality. Therefore, you could use it directed towards somewhere, or just totally be relaxed like we're doing now, and just let it pervade your being. Naturally relishing the state of being by itself, without additions, a state of being that is without conditions, unconditional. If your eyes are closed, open them a little bit before you open them though. Like arrive, be aware again of your presence. Just open the eyes a little bit. And there's this little game, this little play where you perceive what you're seeing or hearing, sensing, and at the same time keep a memory or an experience of this healing light of the sun above you, radiating, surrounding you, while you're being grounded on the earth. Little by little you can keep opening the eyes a bit more until they are fully open. You know, when I moved to Michigan at the beginning, I said, wow, winters are very cold here, no? And somebody told me, said, there's no cold winters, there's only inappropriate clothing or not enough layers or something like this, you know. So when you look around, you look at the newspaper, you hear stories, it's the same thing. It's not that life is problematic. It's like we don't have enough fine-tunement in our awareness to be able to perceive beyond what is manifesting, and realizing that is what is manifesting is also part of the magical display. So this is one more layer that, instead of separating you, is actually makes you be able to relate to everything from a point of view that is more clear, more loving, more understanding, not of the shortcomings, oh, he's like that, he's like this, yeah, it's okay. But no, like within this situation is the seed of pure perfection shining, you know. I was, you know, I've been learning a little bit about gardening, so somebody was telling me about these seeds that the birds have to eat and poop so they can germinate. You know this? So otherwise they would not grow, you know. So there's so many instances like this. So the practice of the healing smile is just, what we are healing is really our perception of things, not things so much. And then at the end of the practice, we always read the dedication again. So in page 11, always read the dedication. The dedication is super important. The dedication is almost like going to get your paycheck after having worked, you know. By the merit of having practiced healing meditation for the benefit of myself and all other beings, may all beings without exception be well and happy. May there be peace in all lands, prosperity in all households, and joy in all hearts across all time and space. And may all the motivation prayers made for the well-being of beings become a reality. So then, after reading the dedication, you just take a moment to just feel so happy. Say, wow, this is exquisite. You know, I've taken the time to practice for myself, for others, to expand my understanding of what life is. I have sat in meditation. I have, you know, really experienced a different aspect of my energy system, my nervous system. And then I've rested in a natural state, and then I've put that together in a way that I dedicated the virtue, so all beings within their needs and their possibilities can also benefit from this. So there's a sense of pride. It's like a very healthy pride. It's not like, oh, I'm the best, I'm better than you. It's like, no, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. This is truly meaningful. And if you do it one day, it's one day. If you do it 2 days, it's 2 days. If you do it every day, that becomes a practice. And then you become a practitioner, you become a true healer. Even if you don't work in the medical field. One of my teachers, a Spanish teacher, one of my first meditation teachers, we were in retreat once up in the mountains, and it was pretty. It was a massive storm. It was one of these older stone houses, and everything was cracking and creaking, and it was so scary. There was no light. There was a massive storm, and I was younger, and I was a bit like there in bed saying, "Oh my God, are we gonna die all here?" So it was in the middle of the night, and he came and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm a little bit afraid." And then there was a silence. He was looking for what to tell me, and said, "When in fear, become a sower of stars, like the one who sows, like puts seeds on the ground." Does it make sense? So when in doubt, become a sower, like plant stars wherever you go, plant light wherever you go, instead of planting doubt or hesitation or negative views. So rub your hands. And this is the fourth chapter, the dry bath. You can, in the book is explained to do it brushing. After sitting for a while in meditation in the earlier part of the day, you can also do it tapping. So we'll do it tapping. Just smile, see that light vibrating as you are tapping. Nice puppy there. And then tap on the legs. Oh. And just see how you feel right now. Hope you feel wonderful. Are there any questions? Is this clear? Does anybody understand how to practice? Yes? Okay, so I will. Good, wonderful. So we'll meet in 2 weeks again. I would encourage everybody to practice this every day. And you can do the first practice when you're in bed, when you wake up, or when you're falling asleep, or anywhere you are throughout the day. Just kind of smile around you, or you're working on anything, smile to that. But also take a few minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes to just on the side to read to go through the three parts: the motivation, the practice, and then the dedication. Wonderful. So we'll finish here. You are dismissed.